Now we're good to go. Bienvenue tout le monde, and welcome everyone to the 77th D-Day commemorations. And you'll have probably seen already the whole lineup that we have today. So we're going to quickly get started because in just a moment at Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer, they're going to begin their ceremony. And so just bear with me one moment while I share that feed with you in a moment. We're good to go.
Yeah, it's funny, there's probably like a 5 to 7 second delay before you actually transmit or receive.
journaliste.
Elle est loin.
Oui, oui.
De Genève, ça va être sportif.
Messieurs les élus de Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer, si vous voulez prendre place.
Two veterans, Arthur Haché from the North Shore and Dennis Donovan from the 48th Royal Marine Commando, who are still with us today.
Mon devoir et ma mission me conduisent aujourd'hui à prendre la parole sur cette plage qui représente un symbole fort de sacrifice pour notre liberté. Aujourd'hui, je parle en homme libre.
My duty and my mission have led me to speak today on this beach, which bears the mark of this incredible sacrifice for our freedom. Today, I speak as a freeman.
Cette mission du devoir de mémoire est une responsabilité commune, de génération en génération. Elle est le rempart contre l'oubli.
Today, I speak as a freeman. This duty of remembrance is a common responsibility for all generations, a rampart against oblivion.
Il y a 77 ans, à 7h30, soldats du Nord-Shore appuyés par les blindés d'artillerie canadienne débarquèrent sur cette plage. Ils ouvraient la voie au 48e commando. Il y a 77 ans, venez libérer Saint-Aubin.
Les soldats de Nord-Shore appuyés par les blindés d'artillerie canadienne débarquèrent sur cette plage.
77 years ago, soldiers of the North Shore, with the Canadian tanks and artillery, landed on this beach, opening the way to men of the 48th Royal Marine Commando who had come to free Saint-Aubin, France, and all of Europe of Nazi domination.
Ce jour-là, 46 Anglais, 60 Canadiens tombèrent sur les balles ennemies. 21 Saint-Aubinais trouvèrent également la mort lors des combats. C'est le prix de la paix retrouvée. Ce jour-là, 46 Anglais,
On this day, 48 Englishmen and 60 Canadians fell to enemy fires. 21 inhabitants of Saint-Aubin also died during the battle. This was a heavy price paid to regain freedom.
Nous allons vous lire maintenant les noms des soldats anglais qui sont tombés sur cette plage.
Nous allons vous lire les noms des soldats anglais.
Du lieutenant-colonel Dufour du North Shore.
The names of the fallen will now be
Nous allons vous lire maintenant
read.
les noms des soldats anglais qui sont tombés sur cette plage, puis diffuser un enregistrement du lieutenant-colonel Dufour du North Shore.
Caporal Affleyer, Sergeant Bishop, 21 ans. Amateur, Caporal Affleyer, Sergeant Bishop, 21 ans. Soldat Borman, 28 ans. Soldat Buckley, 28 ans. Soldat Bourne, 19 ans. Soldat Connor, Sergeant Appleman, 26 ans. Soldat Connor, 22 ans. Soldat Connor, 21 ans. Soldat Coulson, 26 ans. Sergeant Carter, 31 ans.
24 ans. Lieutenant Curtis, 24 ans. Marine Edouard, 21 ans. 19 ans. Marine Verdé, 20 ans. Marine Edouard, 21 ans. 22 ans. Marine Verdé, 20 ans. 28 ans. Marine Fox, 22 ans. 22 ans. Marine Fox, 28 ans. 21 ans. Marine Gosling, 22 ans. 21 ans. Marine Hall, Caporal Hilton, 26 ans. Marine Edley, Marine Humphrey, 26 ans. Caporal Hilton, 26 ans. Marine Humphrey, 26 ans. Sergent G.U., 24 ans. Marine Johnson, 23 ans. Caporal suppléant Larkin, 22 ans. Caporal Lena, 23 ans. Marine McCain, Caporal Lena, Marine McLaughlin, Marine McCain, Caporal Moss, 25. Marine McLaughlin, Caporal O'Boyle, 22 Caporal Moss, 25. Perry, Caporal O'Boyle, Marine Paulet, 19 ans. Perry, Caporal Poole, 26 ans. Marine Richardson, Caporal 19 ans. 26 ans. Rigby, Marine Richardson, 19 ans. Lieutenant Rigby, 26 ans. Marine Sewell, 23 ans. Marine Caporal suppléant Simpson, 26 ans. Marine Caporal suppléant Simpson, 26 ans. 19 ans. Marine Stanley, 22 ans. Marine Spruce, 19 ans. Marine Stanley, 19 ans. Marine Stevens, 21 ans. Sergent Stevenson, 23 ans. Caporal Tabolier, Marine Sternley, Caporal 21 ans. Caporal Tabolier, Wardle, 20 ans. Caporal Williams, 29 ans. Caporal Marine Wardle, 20 ans. Marine Williams, 19 ans. Caporal Wise, 20 ans. Wilkinson, 24 ans. Attaché au 48e. Caporal Wilkinson, 24 ans.
Merci.
Attaché au 48e.
Supporting the regiment. En terminant, je veux vous remercier au nom de tous les membres du régiment pour nous supporter, nous appuyer comme vous le faites. What I'd like to do now is go to the honor roll of the soldiers of God who lost their lives on D-Day. Go to the honor roll of the soldiers who lost their lives on notre régiment Et ce que je voudrais faire maintenant, c'est passer au travers de la liste nominative des soldats du régiment qui ont perdu le 6 juin 1944. Jean Aurillac. Roger Ashford. Alfred Blanchard. Jean Aurillac. Claude Brentfield. Alfred Blanchard. Rupert Clancy. Claude Brentfield. Ernst Boston. Rupert Clancy. Victor Pratt. Ernst Boston. Harold Daly. Victor Aldi Doucet. Pratt. Bruce Elliott Daly. Gordon Clyde Gallen. Norman Antoine Porter. Leonard Ashley. Andrew Irvine. Emerson James. Earl Kingston. Ashley. Levi Landry. Irvine. Harold Lois. Emerson Archie McNaughton. Sarah Rath May. John Thomas Mullally. Levi Landry. Hugh McCormack. Harold George McLeod. Archie Earl Palmer. James Rath Rendell Petrie. John Thomas Edward Wrigley. Joseph McCormack. Albert George McLeod. Albert Tranger. John Walker Petrie. Joseph Edward Wrigley. Lambert Wiggins. Joseph Lloyd. Lest we forget, we will remember them. Ne les oublions pas, nous nous souviendrons d'eux. Joseph Walt. Lambert Wiggins. Lest we forget, we will remember them. Ne les oublions pas, nous nous souviendrons d'eux.
24. Conway Victor, 29. Gordon Frank, 24. Honor Roll for the Fort Garry Horse. 21. Brissett George, 21. Brown Norman, 24. Conway Victor, 29. Gordon Frank, 24. Hilliard Donald, 21. Holdstock Stephen, 31. McCaffrey Arthur, 30. McLeod Donald, 24. Murphy Melvin, 27. Parks Percy, 31. Reeves Alvin, 25. Roosted Alvin, 30. Squarchuk Metro, 25. Stevenson Robert, 26. Fifth Fieldcoy Royal Canadian Engineers. Conwan Harold Nelson. Downing Percival John, 25 and 31. Ross Alwyn Kenneth, 28. Stalker Donald, 32. Stoller Howard, 21. Switzer Arthur, 21. 19th Field Regiment Royal Canadian Cavalry. Kirby Murray Oliver, 27. McEwen Bernard Thomas, 22. Walker Harvey, 22. We will remember them. Nous ne les oublierons pas.
J'invite à la tribune mon lieutenant, si vous voulez nous rejoindre. Si vous avez... je sais que vous êtes... la mission d'aujourd'hui est compliquée pour vous. Il est impossible d'oublier ces sacrifices qui nous permettent aujourd'hui de vivre en démocratie.
To forget the sacrifices, which means that we live today in democracy.
Derrière et dans l'ombre de cette opération, je voulais également rendre hommage à la résistance française, qui nous permettent aujourd'hui de vivre en démocratie.
It is impossible to forget. It is impossible to forget the sacrifices, which means that we live today in democracy.
Derrière et des actions du réseau de résistance, le principe d'organisation repose sur le secret et l'absence
I also want to recognize the French resistance contribution in the cover of darkness to this operation.
L'opération Overlord, qui a débuté le 6 juin 1944 et les actions du réseau de résistance. Selon les Alliés, 80% des renseignements utilisés lors du débarquement de Normandie ont été fournis par la résistance française. Le 1er février 1945, les différents réseaux des mouvements pariens ont fusionné pour donner naissance aux forces françaises de l'intérieur. Selon les Alliés, 80% des renseignements utilisés lors du débarquement de Normandie ont été fournis par la résistance française. Le 1er février 1944, les différents réseaux des mouvements pariens ont fusionné pour donner naissance aux forces françaises de l'intérieur, les FFI.
Defining the exact scope of the organization and the actions of the French resistance is a difficult task, as it relied mostly upon the secrecy and lack of paper trail. It is, however, an undeniable fact that the Résistants played a crucial role in Operation Overlord, which started on June 6, 1944, launching its assault on occupied Europe. According to the Allied, 80% of the intelligence which proved useful for the landing in Normandy came from the French resistance. On February 1st, 1944, the different networks and factions came together to create les Forces Françaises de l'Intérieur, the French Interior Forces.
Le service de renseignement allié imagine une série d'actions clandestines réalisées par la résistance afin de faciliter le déroulement des opérations militaires à compter du jour J. 5 ou 6 juin 1944.
The Allied intelligence services imagine a series of undercover actions implemented by the resistance to facilitate the military operations to unfold on D-Day.
A profondément surpris de participer 1000 sabotages sont réalisés par la résistance du 5 au 6 juin 1944. Les pertes de la résistance sont estimées à 124 tués, blessés, disparus ou faits prisonniers. Cependant, le caractère soudain et massif de ces sabotages a profondément surpris de participer à désorganiser des forces allemandes.
Altogether, the resistance orchestrated almost 1,000 acts of sabotage on June 5th and June 6, 1944. With a tally of losses on the resistance side reaching 124 killed, wounded, made prisoners, or unaccounted for. Yet the sudden massive impact of these acts generated significant shock and disruption on the German side.
libertés démocratiques, développement du racisme et de l'antisémitisme, intégrisme divers. Cela nous montre que le danger est toujours présent. Le monde a besoin de paix pour que ses habitants puissent s'épanouir dans un environnement de liberté, d'égalité et de fraternité.
Et de l'antisémitisme, intégrisme divers. Cela nous montre que le danger est toujours présent. Le monde a besoin de paix pour que ses habitants puissent s'épanouir dans un environnement de liberté, d'égalité et de fraternité.
Today, the world is wrestling with alarming news. Freedom in our democracy are being threatened by growing racism, anti-Semitism, and diverse fundamentalism. This shows the danger is always looming. The world needs peace for its inhabitants so that they can thrive in the realm of liberty, equality, and fraternity.
Julien Saint-Aubin et de Langrune vont procéder au dépôt de gerbes sur la plage, accompagnés des élus, de la musique également, et ceux qui doivent les accompagner.
District Councillor Cédric Mouvelot will now proceed to the wreath laying on the shore.
Moi j'attendais les musiciens. On a des types à votre disposition pour aller jusqu'à...
This concludes the first part of the ceremony, and Nan read. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you again to Saint-Aubin for allowing us to have a front row seat to that commemoration. We're going to move on to our next on the agenda, and this is the commemoration by the 48 Royal Marine Commandos, and this took place at Warsash, Southampton, England on June 4th. And Warsash is where the 1st and 4th Special Service Commando Brigades disembarked for the D-Day landings. And in just a moment, I will share that recording with you. And following that, we'll have a discussion with some key stakeholders and key persons from both England, France, and Canada on some of the things going on here in the near future, commemorating our shared history. So please stand by, and we'll take you to Warsash, Southampton, England. My apologies. Whenever you're running something live, things can go wrong. So I played the wrong edition for this, and just hang on for one brief moment, and I'll have the other one up here in just a moment.
Over to Brigadier Dan Cheeseman, MBE, Commandant General's representative, who will tell you 48 Royal Marine Commandos' story. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. It's a huge privilege for me to be here today with you all as the representative of the Commandant General, Royal Marines, Lieutenant General Rob McGowan, for this extraordinary disbandment ceremony. Of course, there would have been no association if 48 Royal Marine Commando had not come into being in 1944. And so I've been asked to give a short history of this distinguished unit by way of setting the scene for the remainder of the ceremony. Not a new story to many of you, I am sure, but just for completeness. 4-8 Commando existed for less than 2 years, but played a full and glorious part in the closing campaigns of the Second World War in Europe. 4-8 Royal Marines Commando was the last wartime commando unit to be formed, drawing the bulk of its men from the disbanding 7th Battalion RM and Mobile Naval Base Defence Organisation 2. Preparations began in February 1944, but the unit formed up as a body for the first time at RM Deal Depot on Kent on 2nd of March 1944. After commando training at the Commando Basic Training Centre, Achnacarry in Scotland, and subsequent unit training, the unit, as part of 4 Special Service Brigade, took part in Operation Neptune, the D-Day landings in Normandy, and subsequent operations in France and Belgium as part of Operation Overlord. The unit concentrated within a secure perimeter on Southampton Common, and then on 5th of June embarked in landing craft infantry (small) from the Royal Navy's 202 LCI (S) flotilla, from the jetty just 100 yards away from where we have gathered here at Warsash. Landing on Juno Beach near St Aubin, the unit took its first casualties when 2 landing craft were caught on obstacles short of the beach, and due to the ineffective preliminary bombardment, they came under heavy fire. Many were killed or drowned before even reaching the shore. The beach itself, which should have been secured by Canadian troops, was still subject to intense enemy fire, and the CO himself was wounded. Undeterred, they commenced their planned task of clearing the German strongpoint at Langrune, which they accomplished the next morning with the help of tanks from the Royal Marines Armoured Support Group. Such was the intensity of the fighting that over 40 men were killed and many wounded. Of some 500 men who had embarked at Warsash, only 223 men could now be mustered. After a further 2 months in the line at Salonel, 2 months of patrolling, being shelled and mortared, and little rest, they took part in pursuit operations and the liberation of northern France and Belgium. 4 Special Service Brigade was subsequently withdrawn, and 4-8 RM Commando was moved to De Haan in Belgium on 27th of September to train for the 1st of November assault on Walcheren Island at the mouth of the River Scheldt, otherwise known as Op Infatuate, in order to clear the approaches to the port of Antwerp. Once again, a landing craft was lost before making the beach, with survivors swimming ashore. Many of the amphibious tracked vehicles used to achieve a dry landing subsequently burned furiously after being hit by shells or running over mines. Before they could begin their assault on the gun battery that was their first objective, such was the intensity of the enemy fire that one troop had no one above the rank of corporal unwounded. Despite these setbacks and casualties, after fierce fighting, the unit achieved its objective, but at the cost of another 32 killed and 100 wounded. In fact, it did more than that, for it exploited beyond its planned limit of advance and captured the first of 4-7 Commando's objectives too, much to the chagrin of 4-7 Commando's commanding officer. After further operations in the winter on the River Maas, the unit finished its war in Germany before returning to the UK in November 1945, before disbanding at a hutted camp at Horsham in Sussex on 31st of January 1946. It does not fall to many units to be asked to participate in 2 opposed amphibious assaults within 5 months. But that is what 4-8, along with 4, 4-1 and 4-7 Commandos, was asked to do. It met these daunting tasks in the finest traditions of the Corps at the loss of 96 of its men. Its actions are remembered today by the successors, not least because Normandy and Walcheren are 2 of the Corps' 10 memorable dates. Today's Corps salutes the men of 4-8, many of whom were hostilities-only ranks, for their extraordinary achievements and fine record. They set the bar very high indeed.
Let us remember before God those who have died for their country in war, those whom we know and whose memory we cherish, and all who have lived and died in the service of humankind, and especially those who have died after their departure from this spot on the 5th of June, 1944.
They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
there if you like to follow me.
We will now conclude the parade in traditional style by marching off the Royal Marines Association Portsmouth Branch Standard. It's more than that today. 4-8 Commando Association Standard is not on parade because it's been laid up at Christchurch in Gravesend. So Portsmouth Branch RMA Standard carries the spirit of 4-8 Commandos Association. In addition to its own identity, it's got two jobs to do today. This will be followed by a display of drum beatings by the Corps of Drums. Once the standard has left the terrace, Major John Spencer will ask the 4-8 supporters on the terrace to retire to the rear into the front part of the room in order to make space for the display. So would you please follow his instructions. Buglers, sound the alert.
All right. Thank you very much to the 48 Royal Commandos for that excellent performance and commemoration. So a little change of plan for everyone at home. There's been some delays at the beach for the people at Saint Aubin, and the mayor of Saint Aubin is supposed to be a part of the discussions. So we're going to alter that schedule of events that we have. And we're going to start off with the first part of a ceremony that took place yesterday with the North Shore Regiment. And when the people that are going to be in the virtual conversation or discussion are ready, then we'll pause that ceremony at an appropriate time, and then switch over to that discussion, and then finish it off in for the second part of that commemoration. So we'll kind of flop back and forth, but it should work fine. So please stand by at home, and I will introduce you to the North Shore ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, good day. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Ray DeFore, Commanding Officer of the North Shore New Brunswick Regiment. Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour. Je suis le Lieutenant-Colonel Renald Dufour, commandant du North Shore New Brunswick Regiment. Je me situe présentement à Bathurst S, où se situe le Memorial du North Shore New Brunswick Regiment, qui rend hommage à tous ceux qui ont participé avec notre régiment à la Deuxième Guerre. So let's take a bit of time to reflect on what this monument means for our regiment. It's dedicated to those who served with our regiment during the Second World War. For your own interest, for your own information, more than 2,000 soldiers served with our regiment. More than 800 of them came back wounded, and 375 paid the ultimate sacrifice. Everyone who lost their life with our regiment, their name is on the memorial. So this weekend, we're commemorating the 77th anniversary of D-Day, a very important milestone in Canadian military and especially for us in our regiment. Ce qui est important, c'est de se souvenir qu'est-ce que notre régiment a fait au débarquement au Jour-J en Normandie le 6 juin 1944. Nous étions un des 4 régiments qui a fait l'assaut initial sur la plage de Juno Beach et notre secteur assigné était dans le point de Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer. So we had big plans for commemorating the 77th anniversary, and obviously as a result of the pandemic we had to scale back. So this virtual video is our virtual ceremony for all intensive purposes, and what you'll see is a quick introduction, which I'm doing right now. It'll be followed by part 1, which is a virtual ceremony for the 77th anniversary of D-Day. Then we'll follow up with part 2, which is a recognition of certain individuals and organizations. And we're also going to make a special presentation at our Miramichi Armory. And finally, we'll conclude with our unit change of command, where we'll relinquish command to my successor, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Flynn. Donc, ce que vous allez voir, c'est une petite vidéo commémorative qui met évidemment en évidence tout d'abord l'introduction qu'on fait présentement. Ça va être suivi par une cérémonie virtuelle commémorative du Jour-J. En partie 2, ce que vous allez voir, c'est la reconnaissance de certains membres et organisations et de même que certaines présentations spéciales. Et finalement, nous allons conclure avec la 3e partie, qui sera le changement de commandement de l'unité, la passation de commandement entre moi-même et le lieutenant-colonel Mark Flynn. So, certainly a special thanks to the Miramichi Valley High School multimedia team for covering our events and allowing this video to be produced. And on behalf of the regiment, thank you for your ongoing support. As you know, we're always looking for good soldiers and good officers. So if you want to join our regiment, please do so. Once again, thank you for watching. Donc, au nom du régiment, merci beaucoup encore pour votre appui continu et nous sommes toujours à la recherche de bons soldats et de bons officiers. Donc, si ça vous intéresse, joignez-vous à notre régiment. Et encore une fois, merci pour regarder cette vidéo commémorative du 77e anniversaire du Jour-J. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start our D-Day 77th anniversary virtual commemoration ceremony with the playing of our national anthem. Mesdames et messieurs, nous allons débuter notre cérémonie virtuelle de la commémoration du 77e anniversaire avec l'interprétation de l'hymne national. Let's now reflect on the meaning of D-Day. Aujourd'hui marque le 77e anniversaire du Jour-J, avec plusieurs de nos membres sur la plage de Juno en Europe, commémorant cet anniversaire avec plusieurs autres centaines de Canadiens et nos autres Français. Le 6 juin 1944 eut lieu la plus grande invasion soutenue par mer de l'histoire. Les Canadiens ont joué un rôle important dans l'invasion avec comme objectif de prendre la plage de Juno, une des 5 secteurs d'atterrissage pour les Alliés le long de la côte de la Normandie en France. Canada sent approximately 15,000 soldiers into D-Day, supported by 10,000 Canadian soldiers and Lancaster bombers, as well as Spitfire fighter aircraft from the Royal Canadian Air Corps. Canadian units were from across the country, from the Nova Scotia Highlanders in the east to the Canadian Scottish Regiment in Victoria. Le bombardement des plages commença à 6 heures le matin et en dedans d'une heure, la barge de débarquement était partie des bateaux. 2 heures plus tard, la défense allemande sur les plages de Juno avait été brisée et le Canada avait établi une tête de pont. À la fin de la journée, les unités canadiennes étaient les seules unités alliées à atteindre leur objectif au Jour-J, c'est-à-dire 5 km à l'intérieur des terres. However, the victory came at a great cost, with Canada suffering over 1,000 casualties, of which 359 were fatal. The North Shore New Brunswick Regiment suffered 120 casualties, of which 33 were fatal. The D-Day landing was one of the most significant events in Canadian military history. Today, we remember all the brave Canadian soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women who left their homeland to fight for justice and our freedom in a faraway land, and who left our proud legacy for all Canadians. We will now proceed with the last pose, followed by 2 minutes of silence and reveille. Nous allons maintenant continuer avec le dernier appel, suivi de 2 minutes de silence et du réveil. The last pose is the call that ends the day before our soldiers fall asleep. The reveille is the bugle call that awakens them in the morning. During the last 2 minutes of silence, we will remember by watching soldiers of North Shore New Brunswick Regiment landing at Juno Beach. Nous allons maintenant continuer avec le dernier appel en honneur de ceux qui ont payé le prix pour notre liberté. Le réveil est le son qui réveillait les soldats le matin. Durant les 2 minutes de silence, nous nous souviendrons en regardant les soldats du North Shore New Brunswick Regiment débarquer à la plage de Juno. proceed with the laying of the wreath. Nous allons maintenant procéder au dépôt des couronnes. For our country, Brigadier General Roch Pelletier, Commander 5th Canadian Division, accompanied by Division Sergeant Major, Chief Warrant Officer Smith. For the Canadian Armed Forces, Colonel Sean McPherson, Commander 37 Brigade Group, accompanied by the Brigade Sergeant Major, Chief Warrant Officer Parker. For the North Shore New Brunswick Regiment, the commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Rénal Dufault, accompanied by the Regimental Sergeant Major, Chief Warrant Officer Richard Galland. For our veterans, the Mayor of Miramichi, His Worship Adam Lorden, accompanied by Honorary Colonel Ian Oliver and Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Mary-Linda Lord.
To close today's D-Day commemoration virtual ceremony, we will listen to God Save the Queen. The Queen is our regiment colonel-in-chief. Pour clôturer notre cérémonie commémorative virtuelle du Jour-J, nous allons écouter l'interprétation de la pièce God Save the Queen. La reine est le colonel en chef de notre régiment. Once again, thank you for watching our D-Day virtual ceremony, remembering our World War II past and living World War II veterans. Encore une fois, merci d'avoir pris part à notre cérémonie virtuelle du Jour-J, visant à nous souvenir de nos vétérans de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale qui sont encore vivants ou décédés.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just an update. We're still having some delays with our French participants coming from the beach ceremony to join us here for the virtual discussion. So again, just kind of altering the schedule as we go. We're going to continue with the North Shore Regiment ceremony, and there's additional parts to be seen. And at the conclusion of that, we'll break into the virtual discussion that you'll be able to sit on and watch. So just to, again, give you update, and we'll go back to the North Shore ceremony in just a moment.
So there's one thing left that we have to do. Il y a quelque chose d'autre qu'on doit faire. If there's one thing that came to the forefront in 2019 when we went overseas, everybody was talking about Major Archie McNaughton. You know, he's a guy who's done the First World War, did the Second World War, and in about January, February 1944, there was a lot of pressure on him that he should retire because he was considered too old at 47 years old. He had done his duty, he didn't have to be there during the Second World War. And he decided to go because those were his boys. So anyway, he's buried now. He lost his life at Toyville on Thursday, and obviously next to Brendan Savage's grandfather. And what we're going to try to do is to honor his memory here because he played a key role in the embassy, not only overseas, but to gather the community here as a unit to fight overseas. And what we'll do is we'll go back to the back. I'm going to ask the soldiers just to give up on themselves. And for the people here up front, we'll go to the back. We're actually going to see a short video, and then we'll do the special presentation. And then I'm going to ask Brendan Savage to say a few words with his grandfather, obviously being there at the moment that Archie McNaughton was killed. So if you'd like to follow me, we're just going to do this.
They were just kids from New Brunswick. Never even left the North Shore before. Dad trained them the best he could. But how could they possibly be prepared? This was the biggest operation the world had ever seen. He'd already served in the First World War, earned the right to stay home, raise his children. But how could he send those boys into battle and not be by their side? Many were killed that day. One was my father.
Major Archie McNaughton was 47 when he died on D-Day, the invasion that marked the beginning of the end of the Second World War.
And then the government is to essentially put the plaque that we got around there. There we go. All right, cool. So, Brendan, if you want to say a few words.
Just like Colonel DeFore mentioned and was stated in a minute, Archie had fought in the First World War and survived the carnage of that. Came home, raised a family. In 1939, I mean, before that, he was active in the militia. And in 1939, at the outbreak of war, immediately made moves to mobilize the North Shore Regiment. In June of 1940, when the regiment did mobilize officially, there was a 16-year-old Bill Savage that came along, saying he was 18, and enlisted with the regiment. And you can imagine the 16-year-old about to enter the carnage that Archie knew would be waiting for them overseas. He took my grandfather under his wing and made him his personal signaler. Now, in 1943, he reaches the age where he's no longer of the age to be on active service, and he fought very aggressively against that move. And his biggest argument to command was that he was here to lead his boys through it all, to see them through to the end. And very much was a father figure for a lot of the young men. His experience and wisdom from the First World War his leadership and the training had a major impact on the regiment itself. And on June 6th, my grandfather went in at St. Aubin by his side, entered into Tyville on that fateful day, as depicted in the minute, and I can tell you that the reason I'm standing here today is because of McNaughton. He saved my grandfather's life, and it's truly an honor to be able to be a part of this unveiling. Thank you. It's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, the departing commanding officer, Colonel Dufault, will request the reviewing officer to address his unit for the last time. Mesdames et messieurs, le commandant sortant, le colonel Dufault, va demander la permission à l'officier de la revue de s'adresser à son unité pour la dernière fois.
Colonel Person requesting permission to address my unit for the last time. Sir. Commander Sergeant Major 37 CDG, Colonel Kennedy, Colonel Honoraire Andor, Lieutenant Colonel Honoraire, Lord, Lieutenant Colonel Flynn, ladies and gentlemen, la zone de région, membres du régiment, mesdames et messieurs, bon après-midi. Last opportunity I have to address the unit. So where do we start when there's so much that could be said? In our last exercise, I already told my soldiers what I wanted to say to them as a veteran.
Je sais pas si vous m'entendez.
I told them that committing the North Shore New Brunswick Regiment and its soldiers was an instant and complete
En tout cas, nous sommes en voiture,
for me
on
as a
va
result of
sur
the
le site
strong
de réunion.
dedication and
On a pris
heritage of
beaucoup de
this fine
retard
regiment
avec
and
le
the
CMI qui
professionalism
était
of dead soldiers.
assez
They are
émouvant.
truly ordinary, humble citizens who are part-time soldiers doing extraordinary things deeds
Je
as
vous
a
entends
team.
pas.
This is my third unit command. When I reflect on the other two in the regular force, commanding the North Shore New Brunswick Regiment was by far the best, especially when I consider the strong and dynamic interaction I had with the population, its leaders, and the various groups across our region, in command while making a real difference in our soldiers' life for many. This is something you do not experience in a regular force. Despite some difficult situations at times, I always have a smile on my face when going to bed at night, because I live the passion.
Alors je rejoins Fanny en voiture avec Jean-Claude Coulombier. Je suis avec mon portable, ordinateur portable, on a des problèmes de connexion. La réunion, la cérémonie a pris du retard, c'était très très belle scène. Et on a beaucoup pensé à vous. Donc on a 5 minutes de la scène, on va confortablement.
Aux légions de notre région, continuez votre excellent travail afin d'appuyer nos vétérans et de
Alexandre,
pour nos vétérans et la population de notre région. To Anglophone School District North, district scolaire nord-est et la polyvalente nationale
oui,
de Dieppe.
moi c'est Brett, on s'est rencontrés dans votre bureau, ça fait 3 heures.
Problème de connexion parce que nous sommes en voiture.
Et alors, vous êtes en chemin vers la mairie ou?
Tout le monde dans la ouais, nous sommes en chemin pour rejoindre Fanny.
Elle est à la mairie?
Elle est à côté, oui, dans une salle municipale.
Bien.
Les courses.
Donc les choses ont bien été à la plage ce matin?
Oui. On a tout enregistré la cérémonie. J'espère que ça a marché. On a fait le corpus qui était là. Beaucoup de monde par rapport aux cérémonies de la région qui était il y avait plus de monde sur la plage que c'était son nom.
Bien. Et vous êtes où maintenant, tant que la pandémie, est-ce que vous portez encore des masques ou?
À vous tous que la destinée nous a unis par notre histoire collective en 1944, merci de prendre soin et d'honorer la mémoire des vétérans de notre régiment qui ont perdu la vie lors de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale et qui reposent sur vos terres. Vous rencontrez pour le 75e anniversaire du Jour-J en 2019 où tout fut tout un privilège. On se doit de maintenir et d'approfondir ces relations pour le futur. To our regiment World War II veterans and their family members, I was honored to meet and exchange with all of you. You're an integral part of our regiment. We have done the best to ensure that they be recognized for the D-Day 75th events that we hold. To those who continue and support our regiment through the Heritage Funds, thank you so much for your generous donation, and we truly value your donations. Finally, to the families of current serving soldiers of the regiment, thank you for supporting your dear ones in doing what they do in our regiment. Without your support, our soldiers would not be able to do what they are, and we thank you for it. To our past commanding officers, RSM next members to our regiment, to those who had the pleasure to work with during my time as commanding officer and still are engaged with the regiment, thank you. You are a key element to ensure this regiment strives in the future. To Commander 37 CBG, Brigade Sergeant Major, staff, and the other units across the formation, sir and all, it was a pleasure and honor to work with all of you. Special thanks in supporting our regiment's successes, a very sincere thank in making a hard decisions this year, aiming at rendering our detachment in Moncton's yet official, which has been in existence unofficially since 2003. To Honorary Colonel Lord and Honorary Lieutenant Colonel, Honorary Colonel Oliver and Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Lord, Ian, Dalinda, thank you very much for your advice, and we certainly appreciated everything you did. It was really appreciated. To SMR Galant, to Captain Richard, now the SMR for the unit. As human being, unit command is lonely and very demanding. It feels good to speak and bad off at times. After all, we're all human. Gents, thank you for your stellar support during my time as commanding officer. Your contribution is making a real difference in the advancement of this great regiment. To our cadet corps across our area, and particularly the Army Cadet Corps affiliated to our regiment, thank you for what you do. I always cherish the moment I met you as reviewing officer on your parades and when you participated on annual D-Day events. To our emergency regional services, Peacekeeper Association, various civil groups, clubs, churches who supported the regiment on D-Day, thank you. To the Royal Canadian Mint, the Department of Veteran Affairs, Juno Beach Center, and Historical Canada, thank you so much for giving the regiment a national window of visibility as part of the 2019 events that we hold. To the Titanic batters, a valued partner just like us who contribute immensely to the pride of our region, thank you so much for the partnership over the last years that we had, and especially the very special moments you made us live in 2019 and 2018 when you won the 100th anniversary of the Memorial Cup. Bravo Zulu on that. Finally, to our First Nation, Anglophone, Francophone population across our region, we as a regiment are a reflection of who we are as a region. Resilient, a true model of diversity with First Nation, Anglophone, and Francophone soldiers working alongside. This regiment gets the job done because of its soldiers like our forefathers did during the World War II. Your ongoing support and active engagement through new members enrolling in our unit and your attendance to our regiment outreach events is key for us to succeed. Le North Shore est une histoire de succès dans notre région. Continuez à l'appuyer activement de par le recrutement de nouveaux membres à l'unité de votre participation à nos activités futures. Le futur du régiment et sa viabilité en dépendent directement. So in closing, if you were to ask me what I remember as my time as commanding officer for the regiment, I'll answer three things. Firstly, my interaction with all the members of the regiment. Secondly, the exceptional support that I saw firsthand from the population across our region. And thirdly, the special moments I lived in Canada and overseas when we did the 2019 D-Day landing anniversary and the change of colors. To the incoming commanding officer, Mark Flint, I wish you the best going forward. You got an excellent team out there. Look after them like I did, and take care to the regiment to bring it to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, I given my best shot over the last 3.5 years, and it's great because you guys, that's what you deserve. You deserve strong leadership and certainly shared ownership, and that's what I try to do for you guys. So in ending, it's the end of mission for me as your commanding officers. But like we would say in French, ce n'est qu'un au revoir until next time. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer will now turn over his command to Commander of 37 CVG. Please rise. Mesdames et messieurs, le commandant sortant va maintenant céder son commandement au commandant du 37e groupe brigade du Canada. Veuillez vous lever.
Mon colonel, je vous remets le commandant du North Shore New Brunswick Regiment.
You may be seated. Vous pouvez vous asseoir. Ladies and gentlemen, the reviewing officer, Colonel McPherson, will now address the unit. Mesdames et messieurs, l'officier de revue, le lieutenant-colonel McPherson, va maintenant s'adresser à l'unité.
Okay, so I dug into my little notebook that I carry around in my pocket, and I just happened to have the notes here from when I had the privilege of being the reviewing officer for a D-Day parade. I'm not going to read it because most of you guys have already heard the story, but there's a couple stories here that I particularly thought poignant. And the first one is about the history of the North Shore Regiment. And so one of the comments I made 3 years ago was, did you know that you were one of the 2 best battalions in the Canadian Army before you landed on D-Day? Don't know if you knew that or not, I didn't know it. But you know what, that story, that theme continues to this day. And I know your CO took great pride in calling himself the Vanguard of 37th Brigade, right? He earned that title, but it wasn't him. It was the soldiers of the North Shore Regiment that earned that title. And we as leaders, we stand at the front and we seem to get all the accolades, but I just want to make sure that you know how much your CO loved you and how much time and effort you put into command. I've never seen a commanding officer give orders to himself. So he plays the company commander, gives orders to the platoon commander, who was him, and then run, he's not a young man, run on a platoon attack with his young soldiers, following the orders he just gave himself. This was Ray in his first year of command, because he had nobody. They had no officers. They had extremely competent senior NCOs. They had a highly motivated core of soldiers who wanted to learn and do more. And now we see the Vanguard of 37th Brigade. You have earned that title. I have 2 units that I can count upon when the balloon goes up. I can count on all units. But there's 2 units that I can count upon to give me a formed body of troops. And the North Shore always has a platoon ready, a high readiness platoon. I've spoken to the Army commander. This is not the norm across the Canadian Forces, I can tell you. But well done, Ray, to you, hard work, the dedication that you've given this unit. As I sat and watched Colonel Dufour promoted this afternoon, I couldn't help to think about the number of brigade commanders who have come from the North Shore. Let me see. Greg McCollum, Jake Bell. Now we have Colonel Kennedy. Oh, and by the way, we promoted 2 COs of this regiment today. Colonel Dufour. And as you know, most of us probably don't realize the significance of it, but this unit is a center of excellence. It's excellence in the everyday workings of the soldiers, the training that you do. When you go to the field and you execute your BTS, and I watch level 2, level 3 live with the North Shore, it's done so well. With such enthusiasm. And that definitely comes from the top. So, Mark, you have big shoes to fill. When we look at the history of the North Shore, and our commander mentioned it, this unit, members of this unit, the soldiers of this unit, are standing on the shoulders of giants. A huge reputation they'll have, a high standard of professionalism you maintain, and a reputation as the Vanguard of 37th Brigade to continue to earn. So 3.5 years, Ray, I want to apply some quick. Yes, sir. I think the promotion is proof of the pudding that you did a fantastic job. The brigade recognizes it, the division recognizes it, and the Army Commander recognizes it with your promotion. And again, most of us don't realize, but typically you don't get promoted to colonel if you're under or over the age of 45. A couple of years difference between your CO and 45. 45. So again, significant milestone for Colonel Dufour to be promoted. The history of this regiment is so significant. And I think anyone who's been connected to it understands the connection between the community. And Your Worship, thank you for being here. I know that if we had been in Bathurst, we would have had the same thing. If we had been in Hamilton, we would have had the same thing, because very much like another regiment of mine, the North Shore Regiment is a community. And your CEO spoke about this. The community of Francophones, Anglophones, and our First Nation brothers and sisters who form this body of highly motivated Canadians who only want to serve. And again, you guys take it for granted. I don't think you understand what a gift that you have, with the connection that you have to your communities. So I know your CEO gave great thanks. You guys should just feel, I'm very proud. You continue to feel how proud your citizenry and your communities are of the North Shore. There's probably a few more things that I wanted to say, but I know it's hot here, and people just say, can you shut up and carry on with this thing? So, Ray, congratulations. Well done. Mark, I look forward to seeing from the wings what great things you're going to do, because your new CO is another superstar. He's very modest, and he won't commit to it. But you just have to look at his uniform, and you'll see great service. And I know that he's going to bring that level of professionalism, dedication to the North Shore. And he has big shoes to fill. He's got Greg Kennedy's shoes to fill. He's got Brady Force shoes to fill. But he's going to strike his own path. I know he's got ideas. And I look forward to seeing what Mark Flint is going to do with this great gift that he's been given in the North Shore. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the signature of the scrolls officializing the transfer of unit command. Mesdames et messieurs, nous allons maintenant procéder avec la signature des parchemins marquant la passation officielle de l'unité. Ladies and gentlemen, reviewing officer will now hand over command to Lieutenant Colonel Mark Flint, the incoming commanding officer, who will request the permission to address the unit for the first time. Mesdames et messieurs, l'officier de revue va donner le commandement de l'unité au lieutenant-colonel Mark Flint. Le commandant entrant va demander la permission de s'adresser à l'unité pour la première fois.
Mark, typically we have a sword or something, but congratulations. Do you accept command?
I do, sir.
All right.
Request permission to address the unit.
Regiment is yours. Carry on.
Thank you very much. Okay. Patron Lemaire, Monsieur et Madame les Envers, Colonel McPherson, Colonel Dufour, Colonel Kennedy, les invités distingués et les soldats du régiment. Ça me fait énormément plaisir aujourd'hui de commencer ce chapitre de ma vie avec le régiment de North Shore New Brunswick. Je suis vraiment honoré de joindre ce régiment. Un régiment avec une histoire riche, avec les soldats fiers. Je vais avoir 3 priorités. Tout d'abord, je vais apprendre autant que possible autour de l'unité pour que les décisions qu'on va prendre, on va prendre ensemble. Et on va prendre les décisions qui seront faites de beaucoup de sens pour le régiment. My second priority, taking care of soldiers. My intent is to take care of soldiers and their families because they will surely take care of this regiment. My third priority is to uphold the proud tradition of the North Shore Regiment so that the next commanding officer can feel as proud as I do today. Finally, whether you belong to a people that has been in this country for thousands of years, or whether you belong to a people that has been here for hundreds of years, or perhaps you belong to a people that has only been here for a year or two, there is a place for you in the North Shore Regiment. If you think that diversity is not part of our strength, then I would suggest that the North Shore Regiment is not for you. En terminant, j'aimerais remercier le chef de commandement de l'armée pour la confiance et j'ai beaucoup d'hâte de continuer de bâtir sur le bon travail de mon prédécesseur. Proger Constance. Merci.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the departure of the reviewing officer, accompanied by the outgoing CO. Mesdames et messieurs, s'il vous plaît, restez debout pour le départ de l'officier de revue, accompagné par le commandant sortant.
To the outgoing CO!
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's virtual ceremony.
Well, please don't take away the old North Shore. We'll need them by and by. Everybody in the old North Shore is willing to do or die. Now what I mean to say is that the old North Shore is second to the Navy on the sea. And if it wasn't for the old North Shore, where would Shore Island be? Have you ever heard the story of the old North Shore? If not, it's time you did. Some songs sell for 2 and 6. This tune's worth half a quid. It's been sung in every pub along the whole south coast by ATFs, WAFs, and Wrens as well. Why, it's even reached our shore and we're waiting there for more. So raise your voice and yell. We've been waiting here for about 2 years or more. No fighting have we seen. Though we came to fight for right, for honor and liberty. But soon the day will come, a second front will see. Our bigger foe will vanish like the dawn. And though our hearts are pining, keep the old flag flying. The North Shore carries on. There's no need to worry about the old North Shore. Her flag's still flying high. Oh, it's 6 months drilling on the barrack square. Morale is none too high. Well, we all love the army, and PT is swell. Monotony will never get us down. But give us just one chance, put us on the coast of France. Once the North Shores go to town. Our CO is a man who doesn't give a damn. Neither does our 2IC. The company commanders are hand-picked men. They come from the mirror machine. The 2ICs of all the rifle companies, they never do a gosh damn thing. If it wasn't for our NCOs and subalterns, where would the North Shore be? So please don't take away the old North Shore. We'll meet them by and by. Everybody in the old North Shore is willing to do or die. Now what I mean to say, that the old North Shore is second to the Navy on the sea. And if it wasn't for the old North Shore, where would Shore Island be?
Okay, well, thank you again for that great video and ceremony. So now we are ready for the discussion part of the schedule. So again, please stand by while I connect you to a Zoom conference in which there'll be some discussions among different shareholders of our shared past in terms of what is going on currently and in the future for projects and initiatives promoting these kinds of histories. So please stand by.
So it was very good.
Review the opportunities that we may have in the future. Of course, it's not ideal at this time, not being able to meet and travel in person, but we're making do. On peut pas malheureusement se voir comme on a l'habitude de le faire, mais ça nous donne l'occasion au moins par ces moyens virtuels d'échanger et de continuer à garder le contact, ce qui est très important, de continuer à honorer tous les soldats qui sont venus et puis garder le lien avec les familles aussi. It's also very important to keep the link with the families. And joining us is Tony Winslade who is the son of a veteran of the 48th Royal Marine Commando. And Tony, you were part of the ceremony that was replayed earlier.
Yes, I was.
Can you tell us about it? Well,
very quickly, there was an official legal 48 Royal Marine Commando Association set up after the war, but as we only have one veteran left, the secretary decided that we should formally disband it because she was getting hassled from the bank manager and legal people. So what we've essentially done is disbanded the formal.
This meeting is being recorded.
And created an informal one, which is mostly me and a couple of the other guys. So, so I'd see that there's a Zoom thing now coming up.
Yes, but so in short, en français, l'association qui existait depuis un moment, l'association officielle et historique des vétérans du 48e a été clôturée en fait, puisqu'il ne reste plus qu'un seul vétéran, Denis Donovan, que l'on salue, qui vient de fêter son 97e anniversaire, et maintenant va se créer de la place pour une nouvelle, de nouveaux liens, peut-être un peu moins formels. So now there will be an informal or ways to keep connecting in a different ways.
And the main objective is to organize the 2 annual trips. One is to Normandy, and the second one is to Walcheren in Holland. And if you listen to that broadcast by the senior Marine officer, he said it was very unusual for the same unit to be asked within 4 months to do 2 amphibious landings, which they did. So those are 2 special. So 6th of June and 1st of November, and that's the main activity now.
Donc, ce que font maintenant les amis et les enfants des vétérans du 48e, c'est d'organiser des déplacements quand ils le peuvent pour le 6 juin en Normandie et pour l'automne à Walcheren en Hollande. Et c'est surtout ce qui continue à faire vivre l'association, ça, et le partage de la mémoire. And transmitting the memory, sharing the memory is also a very important one.
Yes. And you'll see behind me on my wall there, 3 sets of medals. My father's, my grandfather's, and my great-grandfather's.
3 jeux de médailles pour 3 générations de Winslade qui ont combattu, le père, le grand-père et l'arrière-grand-père. And we saw you along with other sons of veterans and grandchildren as well.
Yeah, the 3 people in the first wreath-laying party were myself and Brian Terry, and in the middle was the son of General Moulton, who was the general in charge of 4-8 Commando. Following us were 3 daughters, and following them were 3 grandchildren. One of the grandchildren was Dennis Donovan's grandson.
Et donc, pour déposer les couronnes, il y a eu 3 groupes, donc un avec les enfants, avec Tony et Brian, qu'on a l'occasion de voir régulièrement à Saint-Aubin. Au milieu, il y avait aussi le fils du général Moulton qui a commandé l'opération ici. Ensuite, il y avait aussi les filles, des filles de vétérans. Et puis, dans le groupe des petits-enfants, il y avait Nathan Babalou, qui est le petit-fils de Dennis Donovan, et sa sœur Lucy était présente aussi. On vous a vu, Tony, we saw you greeting them.
C'est vrai.
In short, Tony, although there's not an official association anymore, you are keeping in touch. And what do you see, or what do you hope seeing in the next 3 years?
Well, we're gradually building, strangely, we're gradually finding more relatives. We're not, unfortunately, finding more veterans. And I have the master list. And also, you will have seen, and anybody can see it, there's a link, which is a continuous development of the PowerPoint slideshow, which is really the archive for significant photographs and events. And I have managed to get photographs one way or the other of 70 of the sort of 500 commandos that were involved in D-Day.
Donc, il y a encore un gros travail qui est fait pour essayer de faire se connecter et de rassembler les enfants et petits-enfants. Il y a aussi des informations qui sont rassemblées au fur et à mesure. Et pour l'instant, Tony, qui a travaillé assez seul pendant longtemps, mais qui maintenant est rejoint par d'autres, a rassemblé près de 70 photos sur des 500 hommes qui sont venus combattre. Donc, il y a encore du travail de ce côté-là, mais il y a peut-être justement des choses qui peuvent être faites à plusieurs. Voilà. Thank you very much, Tony.
Okay.
Merci pour ce témoignage. C'est vrai que pour moi, c'est la 2e cérémonie que je dirige pour le 6 juin 44 à Nunred. Et la première a été avec le Covid plutôt avorté, et on l'a quand même faite. Et cette cérémonie d'aujourd'hui, malgré les mesures gouvernementales qui nous poussaient à être en effectif restreint, on a quand même, j'ai quand même pas mal envoyé d'invitations, et on était très nombreux sur cette plage aujourd'hui, presque comme si le Covid n'était pas là.
So Mayor Berti is saying that it was only his 2nd time participating, and of course we had to make do with the COVID restrictions. But being outside, he made sure that he sent as many invites as he could. And keeping in mind, unfortunately, our foreign friends could not come and join us, he was thrilled to see a good turnout from people, and that shows that the community is still very much engaged and willing to celebrate.
We look forward to meeting you next year. And just one other thing, Fanny, that we're doing, we're quite well connected with 4-7 Commando. They landed on a different beach, Port-en-Bessin, but they landed together in Walcheren. And so, unfortunately, their itinerary doesn't always match with ours, but we do get together in Bayeux collectively. And what we do is we share our programs So, and I think next year, just to say what we have in mind is certainly next year we would like to include in our program a visit to the new British memorial.
Thank you very much, Tony. Donc, Tony disait aussi que il y a un autre commando, le 47e, qui a débarqué du côté de Port-en-Bessin et que généralement, ils faisaient le voyage ensemble et qu'ils essayent de partager un maximum de choses et ça permet aussi de rassembler. Et peut-être l'an prochain, ils voulaient aller au nouveau mémorial qui a été créé à Vers-sur-Mer, voilà, pour les forces anglaises.
And also, I think now we have connected, I'd like to always share our itinerary or program early on with not just 4-7, but with our Canadian regiments, so that maybe we could do one or two more things together. Obviously, when the soldiers landed, they went off in different directions. We went to Langrune, so 4-8 went to Langrune. So, but I think if we can compare programs in advance, then maybe we can find opportunity to combine and meet each other, which will be very welcome.
Un des points que fait Tony, c'est aussi maintenant qu'on est aussi connecté un peu plus avec les Canadiens et le fait de l'avoir fait en virtuel, ça permet d'échanger parce que les différents soldats après sont partis sur différentes destinations, Tailleville pour les Canadiens et Langrune pour les Anglais. Et le fait de partager les itinéraires, ça peut permettre dans le futur, ça peut permettre aussi de trouver d'autres points d'échange et de continuer à se voir. Thank you very much, Tony.
Okay. I look forward to meeting the mayor. Is it the mayor of Langrune or Saint-Aubin?
The mayor of Saint-Aubin. The mayor of Saint-Aubin. During a ceremony which should start in about 45 minutes.
I'm sorry, but I have to depart.
It's okay. Thank you for joining us.
So goodbye to my Canadian friends.
À bientôt.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Pour Saint-Aubin, j'espère.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bruce from Canada is joining us. Bruce, you have a special message to share with our French and English friends. Bruce a un message à partager et une surprise peut-être du travail qui a été fait ces derniers temps.
So am I on now?
Yes.
Okay, so I just was going to talk about my book, so I'll do that now.
Tell us
okay, great. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you. Merci for including me in this event. Thank you very much. My father served with the North Shore Regiment. He did not land on D-Day, but he did fight with the regiment through to the end of the war. And I have, over the last several years, put together a book on the history of the regiment. There's a number of things that have been written, but there's a lot of new information over the last probably 20 years that's been put together, particularly with the assistance of the internet, that is missing from some of the earlier books. So I put together a book, and the book is called 100 Years, A Brief History of the North Shore New Brunswick Regiment. The regiment was created in 1922. And one of the chapters of the history of the regiment, the invasion of Normandy, I posted online yesterday. And the focus of this chapter, of course, is the landing at Saint-Aubin, and then the fighting at Tailleville, and then afterwards the Mew River Valley. So that's in the chapter that was posted yesterday. That's my clock in the background.
Well, that will give me time to just translate quickly. Donc, Bruce a écrit un livre, ça fait longtemps qu'il fait des recherches sur l'histoire du North Shore, mais avec toutes ces années de recherche et l'avènement de l'Internet, il y a aussi beaucoup de choses qui refont surface et du coup, il a remis à jour beaucoup d'informations et il est en train de terminer ce livre sur les 100 ans du North Shore. Il y a tout un chapitre spécialement dédié au débarquement sur Nanred, Saint-Aubin, Tailleville. Et ce chapitre est en ligne pour que les gens puissent commencer déjà à le lire, à le regarder, peut-être faire des remarques et revenir vers lui. On partagera le lien sur la page de la ville, bien sûr, et avec un maximum de nos amis. So we'll be happy to share the news and share the link, Bruce.
And I have a little bit of information. One of the new things is a new map of Saint-Aubin. And this provides details of where each of the rifle companies landed and the streets that they traveled as they passed through the town, and they captured the railway station and the strong point on the beach and the church, Église Saint-Aubin. And so this map identifies 9 locations, historic locations related to the battle, important locations where A company landed, where B company landed, and just a number of different events. So that's a new map for Saint-Aubin that is in the chapter. And at the end of the chapter, there's a segment titled Memorials, Monuments, Museums, Landmarks, and Cemeteries. And again, there's details in there on these 9 different locations. It's kind of like a battlefield guide. So that when visitors come to Saint-Aubin, and they want to know, well, where did the North Shore land? Where did they go? What did they do? So there's 9 different sites identified there. The book will be published in September, and like I say, there's only one chapter that's been put online so far, and I did that for the anniversary of D-Day, and would be grateful for any feedback. Brandon Savage has my email. And again, thank you very, very much for including me in this event today.
In a nutshell, because I tried to remember everything, I didn't take notes. But parmi les choses qui sont vraiment nouvelles, dans cette carte, il y a bataillon par bataillon, il y a les détails des rues dans lesquelles ils ont opéré et de tout ce qui s'est passé. Il y a aussi les détails horaires de la capture de la station de train. La gare tout simplement, et aussi la capture de l'église. Il y a toute une série de listes d'endroits, de lieux mémoriels où les gens peuvent venir se recueillir. Et puis surtout, donc le livre va sortir en octobre, mais ce qu'il voudrait vraiment, c'est que les gens, notamment ici localement, aient l'occasion de lire la partie sur Saint-Aubin et n'hésitent pas à faire des retours s'il y a des choses qui les choquent, si ça les interpelle, s'il y a des choses à rajouter. Voilà. Thank you very much, Bruce, and we'll be happy to share the link.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay, merci beaucoup. On va donc nous œuvrer pour pouvoir transmettre votre écrit sur nos réseaux internes. Et on fera peut-être l'occasion de faire une petite publication qu'on pourrait peut-être éventuellement distribuer à tous les Saint-Aubinais votre texte pour savoir s'il y a pas d'incohérence ou c'est bien au niveau historique, ça colle bien.
So Mayor Batty is committing to sharing the news of your book coming out, and maybe even help by either printing for some of the people who are not really on internet the chapter. For some maybe people who are more witnesses or of a different generation, and share it with them and see if they see details that are worth mentioning or things that if it refreshes their memories, so that we can get back to you with their thoughts and memories.
The book is in both French and in English, and I will email Fanny, if I could email you a copy of the links to this chapter.
And we'll share them with Alexandre as well, yes, with Mayor.
Okay, and I'll send that. Merci.
Perfect. Est-ce que tu avais un message à passer? So maybe Brendan and Brett, I know you've been really involved with the students as well, and working on possible programs to have them involved in the transmission of memory of D-Day.
Oui, en fait, nous avons 2 projets que nous sommes en train de travailler dessus. On avait un voyage planifié 2020 avec un voyage communautaire pour les adultes et pour les familles. Puis on allait commencer en Angleterre, traverser l'eau, puis arriver en Normandie. Ensuite, passer du temps avec vous et là, continuer dans le nord, dans les Pays-Bas. Par contre, désormais, la pandémie a interrompu ça. Et, mais c'est encore notre plan de pouvoir recommencer ça une fois que la pandémie sera finie. Peut-être aussitôt que l'été prochain. L'autre projet, c'est celui avec les étudiants. Notre province est vraiment en train de pousser les crédits ou pouvoir atteindre des crédits scolaires à travers le voyage. Alors, nous avons l'occasion de pouvoir leur enseigner pour une semestre ce qu'ils vont expériencer en Normandie et dans les Pays-Bas, et ensuite leur amener dans ces sections. Alors, peut-être qu'il y aura des choses qu'on pourra travailler ensemble entre nos élèves et vos élèves en menant à ces événements.
Alors, je pense en même temps que vous parliez sur le fait de pouvoir... Alors, la première partie que vous m'avez expliquée, c'est la partie vous viendriez, après vous partiriez aux Pays-Bas.
Oui, l'objectif c'était de finir le voyage aux Pays-Bas. Oui.
Alors, j'ai peut-être une idée, parce que nous on est en train de développer, on avait commencé avec Jean-Paul et on continue à développer notre pôle jeunesse.
Oui.
Bon, c'est des enfants qui ont de 12 à 18-19 ans.
Oui.
Et l'idée que je pense là, ce qui serait bien, mais je ne sais pas si c'est possible, en fait, quand vous venez, le moment où vous arrivez avec vos étudiants,
oui.
Eh bien qu'on poursuive le voyage ensemble.
Possible.
Parce qu'en fait, on pourrait démarrer en fait une collaboration avec nos jeunes. Parce que si on arrive à partir avec vous, avec votre histoire, et puis avec le fait que vous ayez débarqué le North Shore et avec les Canadiens, et qu'on pousse avec vous, avec nos jeunes de Saint-Aubin, apparemment, mais je ne sais pas quelle tranche d'âge.
Nous autres, ça sera 14 à 17 ans.
Ah, nickel. Ah, super.
Oui.
Alors, il faut que ça corresponde avec nos vacances scolaires aussi.
Vos vacances scolaires, ils sont au mois de juillet?
Ouais, ouais. Deuxième semaine de juillet en général.
OK. Ben, il faudra en parler un peu plus. Nous autres, on pensait peut-être arriver pour celui des étudiants pour arriver en France le 3, 4, 5 juin et chez vous le 6. Alors, je ne sais pas si ça pourrait s'arranger. Tout est possible.
Oui.
Ouais.
Non, mais ce serait une bonne idée parce que comme ça, on pourrait développer après un partenariat d'échange avec nos jeunes au niveau de la France et du Canada et France, et puis aussi au niveau de la mémoire.
C'est ça. Combien de jeunes vous aurez, d'après ce que je comprends, vos jeunes, ils vont à Caen, n'est-ce pas, pour leurs études secondaires?
Alors, ils peuvent aller à Caen ou à Douvres, à côté.
À Douvres, OK. Alors, on parlera de peut-être une douzaine de jeunes qui seraient intéressés ou une trentaine?
Ouais. Non, nous, si on arrive à 15 jeunes, ce serait bien.
OK, c'est bien.
En général, quand on fait des voyages plutôt sportifs où on remplit un quart, donc on a 30, 40. Mais sur un voyage spécifique comme ça, je pense que si on est à 15 jeunes de Saint-Aubin, ça serait bien.
Très bien.
Mais il faudrait qu'on en échange avec mon équipe et qu'on puisse préparer ça, ce serait génial.
Oui, absolument. Oui. Alors, ce ne sera pas seulement les jeunes qui vont étudier les exploits du North Shore. Il va y en avoir d'autres qui vont pouvoir avoir des crédits parce qu'ils étudient soit la nourriture française ou le tourisme français ou quelque chose dans différents domaines. Alors, il y aura toutes sortes de différents milieux qu'on pourra travailler dedans, je pense.
Et nous, en France, je pense qu'on axera sur l'échange avec le débarquement. On récupérera des subventions, je pense, pour nous, là-dessus.
OK.
Par rapport à l'échange.
Oui.
Le travail de mémoire, voilà. Travailler ensemble pour la paix et le rapprochement des personnes à travers différents pays.
Oui. Ouais, nous autres, c'est pas seulement le patrimoine, c'est aussi la culture, l'échange linguistique et toutes ces choses-là.
Ça marche.
Oui.
Vous viendrez avec du sirop d'érable.
Sirop d'érable. Ouais.
On n'aime pas.
Vous mettre sur vos crêpes.
Juste pour vérifier, on n'a pas besoin de traduire cette partie-là. Vous m'avez dit que la partie, quand on parle en français, c'est traduit automatiquement, c'est ça?
Ouais, c'est fait, ouais.
Parfait.
Okay. Donc c'était un petit peu hors sujet, mais par rapport à cette journée, mais ça continue dans la transmission et notre devoir de mémoire qu'on a à transmettre à nos enfants et aux générations pour que ce qui s'est passé en France, en Europe et dans le monde entier ne puisse plus arriver, quoi. On a un rôle important là-dessus.
C'est ça. Oui, Monsieur le maire, la première fois qu'on s'est rencontrés, c'était dans le bureau de Monsieur Ducoulombier. Vous avez maturé depuis ce temps-là.
C'est ça.
J'ai entendu Jean-Paul.
Oui.
Je l'ai formé un peu quand même.
Jean-Paul is taking a little bit of the credit. I'm not sure.
Bonjour Jean-Paul.
Salut.
Joining us also is Jean-Paul from Saint-Aubin. I want to mention that all mayors have been very much involved. Tous les maires que j'ai connus, moi, à Saint-Aubin, ont toujours été très impliqués dans les célébrations du débarquement. L'an dernier, c'est Pierre Letellier qui est venu et qui a insisté aussi pour... il voulait retrouver les informations sur le pilote américain qui avait été abattu. Et vraiment, voilà, tous les maires se sont impliqués. Ça fait partie, comme disait Alexandre au moment de la cérémonie, ça fait partie de la mission. Quand on devient maire de Saint-Aubin, la mémoire du débarquement, elle est incontournable.
Alors, la cérémonie a très bien été ce matin sur la plage.
Oui, super, ouais, c'est vraiment très bien.
Ouais. Vous avez seulement manqué 150 Canadiens.
Les meilleurs. Non, c'est vrai que c'est vrai que, mais le fait qu'on, comment expliquer ça? En fait, vous n'étiez pas là, présent, mais on savait que comme c'était retransmis et que les images vont pouvoir être partagées. En fait, virtuellement, vous étiez présents tous, les Anglais et les Canadiens. Mais c'est vrai que pour avoir vécu le 75e quand Jean-Paul était maire, l'émotion était débordante quand vous étiez là. J'ai encore des frissons quand on s'est tous retrouvés au gymnase, par exemple, au repas, où c'était vraiment très fort. Et les larmes sont venues. Donc, c'est puissant, quoi.
Ouais. Les élèves, ils me demandent c'est quelle ma journée préférée d'enseignement, puis je leur dis toujours que c'était le 6 juin 2019. J'ai rien enseigné.
C'est parce que c'est à cause de tout ce qui a été enseigné avant que cette journée était spéciale.
Et tous vos efforts, les efforts des Anglais, les efforts des Canadiens, vos efforts.
Mais je pense
que très bien ensemble.
Des journées comme ça pour des élèves, ils s'en souviendront toute leur vie.
Et je pense que c'est comme ça que la mémoire continue à se transmettre. C'est par ces moments où on y repense encore 5 ans après et on a encore des frissons qu'on est touché par l'histoire et qu'on a envie d'en parler à ses enfants plus tard, à ses neveux, à ses nièces. Et c'est comme ça que la mémoire de ces hommes et de ces femmes qui ont combattu ne va pas s'effacer. Et c'est ça notre mission aussi, de créer de l'émotion. Pas juste de raconter toujours les histoires, mais de créer de l'émotion, des motivations, de l'inspiration.
Oui, c'est difficile à faire à chaque année.
Oui.
En fait, je me rappelle de Jean-Paul en marchant du centre communautaire à Tailleville. Il me regarde et il me dit « On ne fait pas ceci à chaque année. »
Mais c'est pour lui un souvenir, voilà, c'est pour lui un souvenir très fort dont il parle régulièrement.
Oui.
Bon, ben, je crois qu'il va falloir que nous nous préparions pour...
On va devoir remettre l'écharpe.
Il y a une autre cérémonie qui se prépare à Langrune-sur-Mer et donc on va la retransmettre aussi. Alors je sais qu'on a un petit peu chamboulé le programme. Donc, pour ceux d'entre vous qui voudront rester, vous pourrez. Et puis, peut-être qu'on trouvera vous pouvez peut-être continuer la discussion entre vous sur les moments forts de 2019 et à 17h30, ou sinon peut-être voir quelques images du mémorial de Vers-sur-Mer. Et sinon, juste donner rendez-vous aux gens 17h30, ça fera quelle heure chez vous, si je me souviens bien? C'est 11h30 peut-être?
Midi 30.
Midi 30, voilà, pour la cérémonie à Langrune. En tout cas, c'était un vrai plaisir d'échanger avec vous. It was a true pleasure to be exchanging with you, and to all of you watching us, thank you for helping keep the memory alive.
Merci, bonne journée. Bye, Bruce.
À bientôt.
Thank you, Fanny.
Ok.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Alexandre. Merci.
Non. Ok, à bientôt. Et puis, pour le devoir de mémoire, on se recontacte et puis on va travailler pour nos jeunes.
Très bien.
Pour la suite. À bientôt.
À bientôt.
Et on revient très vite vers Bruce avec des remarques. We'll come back to you soon, Bruce.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Au revoir.
Thank you.
Et à très
Thank
bientôt.
you.
C'est madame.
Okay, and thank you very much for everyone who participated in the discussion. Great things are abound here in the coming months and years, and not even a pandemic, I think, can put an end to the honoring of memory and of our shared history. We have about 15 minutes before the Langrune ceremony, which is dedicated to the 48 Royal Commandos. Will go live again, just like at the beginning of this event for Nan Red, and that'll be our last thing. But in the time in between for those 15 minutes, instead of just watching me the whole time, we will watch a ceremony that's going on live right now, unveiling of a British memorial, and once they're ready at Langrune, I will end that feed and then bring you live into that ceremony. So again, stay tuned. We'll watch a little clip of what's going on in Normandy currently at the moment, and then I'll bring you back onto the beach again. So please stand by.
So as we gather, let us remember before God and commend to his sure keeping those who have died for their country in war, those whom we knew, and those whose memory we treasure. We remember all who have lived and died in the service of humankind. We dedicate these drums as an altar in memory of those who served unto death, and with gratitude for those who returned after service and suffering. Amen.
My name is Gilbert Clark, and in 1943, I lied about my age and left my family and friends behind in Jamaica to volunteer for the RAF. I volunteered like so many millions of others from Britain, the Commonwealth, and elsewhere out of a sense of duty to fight for king and country, to play my part, like all the veterans here today, in ensuring we left the world a better place for everyone. I wanted to share my memories of D-Day as a young recruit training in Britain. We had been on high alert for some time, and had been on fire picket duty. Those duties were especially important as fire in the night was very dangerous, as enemy aircraft could pick out targets readily. On D-Day, I was in class studying the new radar technology when we heard this huge, loud, droning noise. We all rushed outside to see what was happening. It was hundreds and hundreds of aircrafts of all kinds. You could hardly see the sky. Our tutor, Secret Brown, said, "It started, boys," and everyone started cheering and waving them on. That was when we first knew D-Day was on the way. I thought of two things, personally. Firstly, I hoped that D-Day would mean that the war would soon be over. And secondly, I wanted to finish my studies as soon as I could play my part in ending the war quickly. D-Day brought us hope. It was a day I won't forget, and I'm proud to do my part in ensuring that the memory of what so many did on that day is kept alive. Thank you.
And thank you to Gilbert Clark there for his evocative accounts of the planes flying over on their way to the Normandy beaches. We now come to the hymn Abide With Me. As I mentioned, this will then lead into the formal opening of the British Normandy Memorial. We will be singing 3 verses today.
Do please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. And so now an event of some significance in our D-Day remembrance. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, but most especially our Normandy veterans, both here in Staffordshire and watching online. May I, on behalf of the Normandy Memorial Trust, welcome you to the official opening of the British Normandy Memorial. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? 77 years. Long overdue are two words that I've heard so often over the years that we've been putting this project together. But now, finally, the memorial exists. We can see it in a moment on the big screens. There we are. It's sun shining in Normandy this morning. They're lucky. Now, they are mostly locally based guests in Vers-sur-Mer this morning. They're listening to a speech by France's Defense Minister, Madame Florence Parly. We'll return to Vers-sur-Mer in a few moments when the two sites will be linking together for the opening ceremony. A few words of background. First, I should explain who I am. My name's Nicholas Witchell, and 6 years ago, a Normandy veteran, whom many veterans will know, came to see me. His name, of course, is George Batts, and I'm delighted that he's with us this morning here in a place of distinction. George, welcome. You will know, many of you, that for many years, George was the National Secretary of the Normandy Veterans Association, and when George came to see me in July 2015, he pointed out that the United Kingdom did not have its own national memorial in Normandy in tribute to all those under British command who lost their lives on D-Day and during the Battle of Normandy. George, you planted the idea. I know how much this has meant to you for many years. Thank you. And that is how this all started, with a completely blank sheet of paper. The Normandy Memorial Trust was formed. We found our architect, Liam O'Connor. We found the perfect site overlooking Gold Beach. The British government agreed to provide £20 million from the LIBOR Fund.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like they are almost ready at Longueuil for the last ceremony of the day. So please stand by as I switch over for our final event in our 77th anniversary D-Day commemorations.
Oui, j'ai dit café fort là.
Comment la 4G fonctionne aussi. Hein.
C'est le problème.
Bonjour, vous allez bien?
Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci et vous? Bonjour Patricia, vous allez bien?
Elle est là, Françoise?
Je ne sais pas.
Bon,
ah,
je sais pas.
Oui, on se revoit. Ah, d'accord.
On peut enlever l'essentiel.
Oui. Ah.
On a 1000 €
The ceremony in Longueuil will start in a short moment. You're seeing now Mayor Jean-Luc Guingouin and Patricia Paul, who's an English teacher. She's been participating in the ceremonies here in Longueuil for a long time. We'll be honoring today members of the Royal Marine Commando who, after landing in Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer, the non-red sector, in the morning of June 6th, moved to Longueuil and helped liberate Longueuil, where they are remembered every year. And while we're waiting for the ceremony to start, maybe we can move to the street to show you how veterans are remembered all through Normandy with their pictures being shown on lampposts. I won't venture too far away because I want to make sure that we do not miss the beginning of the ceremony. But here is Tom Clark, and a little bit further down the road is Dennis Donovan. Well, we'll go and show you that picture a little bit later on. And if you're watching, Dennis, we're thinking of you. You, your family, and all the families of all the men who fought here in London.
Attention, faut pas rater, hein.
I want to introduce you to Patricia, who's going to translate the speeches today. We've got
Drapeau bas.
Mesdames, Messieurs, ici présents sur cette place, Messieurs les maires, Messieurs et Madame les élus, les anciens combattants, les présidents, puis toutes les personnes présentes sur cette place.
So dear veterans, ladies and gentlemen, elected representatives at Saint-Aubin, Langrune and the region, and dear people present in this place.
Nous commémorons le 70e anniversaire qui marque le débarquement des Alliés en Normandie le 6 juin 1944.
We are here today to commemorate together the 77th anniversary of the Allied landing in Normandy on June the 6th, 1944.
Les commandos du 48e Royal Marine ont débarqué au petit matin du 6 juin sur le secteur Junot et plus particulièrement sur la partie de plage nommée Lanred, entre les communes de Saint-Aubin et de Bernières.
On June the 6th, in the early morning, the soldiers of the 48th Commando Royal Marines landed on the beach codenamed Juno area, and more particularly on that part of the beach named Nanred, located between the villages of Saint-Aubin and Bernières-sur-Mer.
Ils étaient commandés par le lieutenant-colonel Moulton et ont débarqué dans des conditions particulièrement difficiles.
They were led by Lieutenant Colonel Moulton and they landed in very tough conditions.
Le 40e commando, après de durs combats dans les rues de Langrune, ont libéré la commune le 7 juin 1944 en début d'après-midi.
After fierce fightings in the streets of Langrune, the 48th Commando eventually freed the village early in the afternoon of June the 7th, 1944.
Ces combats causèrent ici à Langrune la perte de 3 de vos camarades, donc des camarades du 48e Commando Royal Marine, le capitaine James Laurie Ferry, 22 ans, le sergent Denis Amato, 26 ans, le caporal Arthur Poole, 26 ans.
These actions caused the death here in Langrune of 3 members of the 48th Commando Royal Marines. Captain James Laurie Perry, aged 22, Sergeant Dennis Amato, aged 26, both resting in the military cemetery of Hermonville, Corporal Arthur Poole, 26, now resting in the Bayeux Cemetery.
Ces combats n'épargnèrent pas les civils puisque plusieurs Langrunais perdirent la vie.
These battles did not spare the local inhabitants either, as several civilians from Langrune were killed.
Morin Yvonne, Hamelin Jeanne, Charil Jacques, Covès Lucien, Marie Joseph, Marie Paulette, Marie-Thérèse, Lomé René, Quignot Eugène, Nicole Joseph, Fraissinet Gaston, Rouault Robert, Berthou Alexandrine, mort pour la France. Les souffrances partagées ont scellé pour toujours une amitié indéfectible avec nos amis libérateurs et nous attachons à transmettre le flambeau à nos enfants.
The shared sufferings have sealed forever an unfailing friendship with our liberators, and we do our best to make sure our children will take up the torch.
Il est essentiel que nos jeunes se souviennent combien a été décisive la bataille qui a fait rage en Normandie et qui a permis de libérer la France.
It is essential that the younger generations remember how decisive the Battle of Normandy has been in the liberation of France.
Nous avons une pensée pour tous les vétérans du 48e Commando qui ont commémoré ces anniversaires sur cette place. Donc, parmi tous les commandos qui sont venus sur cette place pour commémorer, j'en citerai 3, Fred White, Denis Smith et Denis Donovan. Alors, Denis Donovan, c'est un commando qui a actuellement 96 ans. 97 ans. Qui était là l'année dernière, l'année précédente. Et cette année, il devait venir, mais au dernier moment, il n'est pas venu. Donc, j'espère qu'on le verra l'année prochaine. Et Denis Donovan est débarqué à Saint-Aubin le 6 juin. Vous l'avez sur les kakémonos qui sont tout autour de la place. Et il se trouve sur le secteur de ce côté-là, au pied de la rue de la Mer.
We have a special thought for all the veterans from the 48th Commando Royal Marines who have over the years celebrated the commemorations of the landing in Normandy on this beach. Fred Wyatt, Dennis Smith, Dennis Donovan, and many others. Dennis is now 97 years old and was supposed to come but then decided not to. Hopefully we'll see him next year.
Mesdames, Messieurs, chers amis, au nom du Conseil municipal et moi-même, nous vous remercions, vous adressons toute notre sympathie et reconnaissance.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, on behalf of the City Council, I thank you for all that you achieved and express our deepest sympathy and profound gratitude.
les commandos anglais ont débarqué aussi avec les Canadiens, donc sur la partie Juno, donc sur Saint-Aubin. Donc les Canadiens ont plutôt libéré la partie ouest. Donc on a Marcel Maupas du comité Juno qui va nous lire la canadienne.
Acte du souvenir canadien. Ils ne vieilliront pas comme nous, qui leur avons survécu. Ils ne connaîtront jamais l'outrage ni l'opprobre des années. Quand viendra l'heure du crépuscule et celle de l'aurore, nous nous souviendrons d'eux.
We will remember them. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Mesdames, Messieurs, merci pour votre présence à cette cérémonie. Je tenais à formuler quelques remerciements. Donc, je vais remercier Fanny qui est juste devant nous, là, qui s'est occupée de la retransmission sur les réseaux sociaux de la cérémonie pour nos amis anglais, américains et canadiens, je crois, c'est ça. Donc, on les salue bien. Merci Fanny. Je remercie les maires présents, Alexandre Berti, le maire de Saint-Aubin, Thomas Dupont, Federici, maire de Bernières, Marcel Maupas, le comité Junot, Cédric Nouvelot, le conseiller départemental, le lieutenant Dupluic de la gendarmerie, notre ami ancien combattant Jean de Douvres, Franck Jouy, conseiller municipal et premier adjoint, Monsieur Bedag, le président des anciens combattants, les porte-drapeaux des différentes associations et puis vous tous sur la place. Voilà, et je vous souhaite une bonne soirée et j'espère que l'année prochaine, on sera dans des conditions différentes pour pouvoir fêter le 6 juin avec nos amis vétérans. Je salue aussi le maire de Taon, qui est juste derrière. Voilà. Et puis, bon, j'ai oublié des personnes, m'excuserez.
And thank you again, Fanny, for today for rushing to the different locations for us. So us back here in Canada and those of you in England are able to witness these events live. And there are a great many people to thank for this particular virtual event. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's our second time doing this, and we learn each year and make it better. And I do appreciate your patience with some of the technical difficulties as we went through, but I do think we're getting a little bit better and a little bit smoother with the process as the years go by. So I want to thank everyone who attended. And I hope you enjoyed, and you'll also note that on the original post with the link, my email is there. If there's any feedback or questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. Again, we're always looking to try to improve on this, and we hope to continue this on a yearly basis. And so until next year, thank you again, and take care.